All right, so here we go. Early contacts with our unit questions. Continuing part 2. Yay! So here we were looking at this painting and considering how Christopher Columbus was portrayed in this image, noticing the light, how he's looking towards heaven, and you see the Native Americans in the shadows. So what do you think is the artist's point of view? What's the image, and who might the audience for this image be? As well as what's the context of this image. You can see people getting sort of exciting and flooding into the image behind him as well. So one of the skills that we have to practice is really being able to do all of those things that I just asked you. So this painting is a depiction of Christopher Columbus and the members of his crew on the beach in the West Indies when he landed in 1492. The image was painted, or at least commissioned by Congress in June of 1836, and it's called The Landing of Columbus, and it was intended and was placed in the Capitol Rotunda in early 1847, almost over 10 years later. So here's the Capitol as it looked in 1837. At this point, the nation was only 31 years old, and the U.S. Capitol was also in a growth and transition phase. In fact, the rotunda was new. The wings out here were not even in existence yet on the nation's capital. There was also a type of painting style that was very popular in the early 1800s, which was called the Romantic style of painting, or also Neoclassicalism. These types of painters set out to create sort of an idea of wonder of the landscapes and specific events. And the landing of Columbus is romantically portrayed as a patriotic event, and it was to promote nationalism. Later, this image itself appeared on stamps and $5 bills to commemorate the Columbian Exposition at the 1893 World's Fair, which celebrated the 400th anniversary of Columbus's arrival on the New World. So here's an image from the 1893 World's Fair. So again, you have to put it in context. What does history say about Christopher Columbus? Why has it said what it said about Christopher Columbus? And what should it say? History is an argument, and it's all about context. Context is everything. This painting was created in such a manner to invoke awe, to create a hero, and to perpetuate this idea of our national identity and story. What's missing from this story is the reality that things that actually happened, and this is documentable in the historical record. The mistreatment of the Native Americans, the destruction of Aztec, Mayan, Native American culture, language, the brutality with which Native Americans were treated. And in fact, these are actual engravings done by Franciscan friars, missionaries, who witnessed the events of the sort of torture and torment of these Native American populations. The Europeans were pushing for God, gold, and glory, and it was a competition. Spain and Portugal were the leaders with the conquistadors, but very quickly on their heels came Italians, such as John Cabot, who was working for the English, exploring parts of North America. Verrazano, who sailed for the French, and a lot of these guys were Italian because they knew sailing. They were hired by these other nations to do these explorations and create colonies. So Verrazano explored parts of North America as well. Jacques Cartier explored the St. Lawrence Seaway and got all the way into Quebec, and he claimed Canada for France. So by the beginning of the 1700s, really the end of the 1600s, you can see that Europeans had really carved up Latin America for themselves. You have what is now today Brazil, dominated by the Portuguese. You had the Spanish claiming large swaths of territory on the western portions of South America, Central America, and North America. The Russians even claimed territory over here, what is Alaska, and now the coast of northern Canada, British Columbia. French, they sent in immediately trappers that came in the St. Lawrence Seaway and started to explore these center plains regions of the United States. You also had disputed territory where the French and the British both claimed it, and then you had our 13 American colonies here on the eastern coast, but also large colonies up in Canada as well. So that is how the New World was, quote, discovered, and we will be exploring quite a bit some of these primary source documents related to these times. Remember, context is important, as well as long-term changes and continuities of people's attitudes and beliefs and value systems over these times. Welcome to AP US History. So excited. Yay! Bye.